Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elaine. To those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. Today I decided to make a part 2 video regarding the global entry application process. My first video, which I will link in the description down below, I did post a few months ago, and I had a lot of questions about the whole application process, so I decided to make a part 2 video and just kind of answer some of the questions I got from there. Also, I did get to use global entry for the first time a couple months ago, so I'm going to share with you the experience that I had, whether I thought it was worth it or not. Alright, so let's get on with it. So I did write all the questions here. So the first question I got was, are there any other fees that you pay other than the $100? So the answer is no. There are no other fees that you pay. You just pay the $100, which you pay during your application online. So there's no other fees that you pay when you get there during the interview or anytime during the process other than the $100 that you will pay using your credit card online when you apply. The next question was regarding conditional approval and how long that took. So for me personally, when I applied, and this was in end of November, when I applied for global entry, it literally took about 5 days total for me to get that conditional approval. And I got the conditional approval via email. It doesn't really say you're conditional approved, it just says that there's like a status change. So then you go onto your website, to your login, and then you just see that you've been conditionally approved. And so when that happens, congratulations, and all you have to do is go ahead and schedule the interview. You do get a chance to select which location you want. I'm in California, and I had like a bunch of options if I wanted LAX or if I wanted somewhere further. So I can do that if I wanted to, if I wanted something sooner, but I just wanted LAX because that was the closest for me. And so that one took about a month for me to schedule from the time I got conditionally approved, only because I wanted to really schedule the interview with my family. If I just wanted to schedule just for me, I probably could have gotten an interview a week later or even a few days after I got the conditional approval. But I wanted to find a date and a time that, you know, I can go in an interview with my family. So there were a total of 5 or 6 of us that went to the airport at the same time, and we all had our interviews back to back. So that was nice, and it actually, you know, a month, and we planned this way in advance before our international travel, so we did get enough time to schedule the interview and, you know, find that perfect date and time that worked for us. The next question that I got was, what about kids? So if you are applying for your child, then yes, you do bring your daughter or your son to the interview. I did apply for global entry for my daughter, and I did bring her to the airport to get interviewed. They didn't really interview her. They basically like asked her for her name, and I'm sure if she didn't answer, it would have been fine. She was not even 3 years old at the time of her interview, so she did answer for her name though, and she did answer for her age, so that was nice, and that's really all they asked. I don't know if she would have been able to answer any other questions other than how old she was and her name. But I don't know how many other questions they're gonna ask if it's for like an older child. But yes, bottom line, you do bring the child over for an interview. They did also try to take her fingerprints, which was kind of funny because, you know, she has those tiny little fingers. So they did try, and my daughter did kind of cooperate. She kind of looked like what was going on. She had that look in her face because why were they taking her fingerprints, and everybody looked so serious because of course you have to be serious, you know, you can't be all like fun and games over there. So anyway, they did try to take her fingerprints, but it didn't work. So FYI, if you have little kids that you're applying global entry for, it might take a while to get that approval. So for my daughter, it did take over a month to get her final approval because she couldn't get her fingerprints at the time of the interview. So for all of us adults who did apply, we got our approval the same exact day. So we had our interview around like noon-ish. That same afternoon, we got the email that we have been approved. And what happens after that is that you get like a card. I wish I have my card with me to show you. It's literally like a credit card size. And what it is basically, if you ever travel outside of the United States and you come back and you're driving, you can show that card. But otherwise, if you're just using global entry to come back, from an airport, you don't really need the card, because you use your fingerprints at the kiosks at the airport to kind of like access your identity, and so that is what you will use. All right, sorry, I went on and on about the kids. And I think those are most of the questions that I've gotten. Other than all the process side, I did get a question regarding interview, what kinds of questions I got asked. So basically, the questions I got asked during the interview, and again, this is my experience and the experiences of my family that shared with me their interview questions, and most of it really revolved around where have you traveled, really just like confirming also your identity, where you work, what you do, all that stuff that you have already completed online when you submitted your application. So it's nothing really new. I did not get any questions that I didn't fill out online. I do know my mom did get asked questions about during the time that we moved here in the US. So just like some questions about just basic stuff, nothing that you really have to practice or really think about. It's just stuff that they will ask you the question and you just give them the answer right then and there. Very straightforward, very fast, nothing to be intimidated about. Just go in there and you get out in no time. They basically take your picture and they take your fingerprints and then you're done. So that's for the application process part of it. So now for the actual use of the global entry, was it worth it? Was all that trouble paying $100, going to the interview, waiting, was that worth it? So I finally got to use global entry for the very first time a couple months ago. I went to the Philippines. I came back and I did use the global entry. There's that, at least at LAX, there's like a big sign at the top, like for global entry. You have like that special line because there's a kiosk. You don't have to go and interview with like an actual person. So that was nice. When I came in, there was like a lady that was like yelling global entry this way. So we went into the global entry kiosk. There was like no line whatsoever. It was really fast. You just literally scan like your, wait, did we scan our passport? No, you just like do your fingerprint. And then it like finds your name and then it spits out like a little receipt with like your face, because the kiosk will take a picture of yourself. So I did that, and it was kind of like a very interesting experience for my daughter because she's so tiny, so I had to like lift her up so that the camera can like take a picture of her face. Each person will get like that receipt with like the little barcode, and then after that you actually still do have to go into like a desk where there's like an actual person, and all you do is literally show the receipt. They look at your passport, they looked at the receipt, and then we were cleared. So that was really nice. Even for customs, they did have a line specific for global entry. So my experience when we came to the airport, when we arrived, there weren't that many passengers. It was just one flight that arrived. So I think that it would have made a drastic difference if there were like lots of flights arriving around the same time, but I did see how it can be very valuable when that happens and how it can expedite things. However, in my experience, there was only one flight, and so there weren't that many people to begin with. However, my mom's experience was different because they arrived at a different date. There were like multiple flights arriving around the same time, so the lines were crazy long, and my mom said that she breezed through everything because of global entry. So it was a really time saver for her and my dad. So that's good to know. And so knowing all this now, do I recommend global entry? 100%. Especially I have a kid, so hey, any minute that I save not having to wait in line, I will take it. So anyway, I don't want to drag this video. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope you guys like this video. If you do find it helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like these kinds of topics, please subscribe. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me a question down below, and I will do my best to answer. Alright, see you guys at the next video. Bye!